Hey guys, so for today's lesson, you are going to need the handout that says Monday Math and it has some number lines. If you picked up my packet or your packet, you should have 5 strips of what's called parchment paper or wax paper. If you do not have the packet with these in, guys, do not worry about it. Just pay attention and watch because you can still do this assignment without having the parchment paper. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is if you notice, the parchment papers are the same length as my fraction, as my number line. Remember, my number line starts at 0, and we're going to one whole. So what we're going to do is we're going to be making halves, thirds, fourths, sixths, and eighths with my parchment paper. We're going to do that just by folding. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one piece of parchment paper, and I'm just going to fold it in half. Okay? So just fold it in half. When I open it back up, you can use your pencil or you can use a crayon or a color pencil. And I am going to make a line on the folds. And I'm going to label this 1/2. So 1/2. Okay? I know it's kind of hard. I'm not sure. Pen's not going to work, but a pencil would work. Pencil will work too. So it doesn't have to be a matte pencil, it can just be a pencil. Okay, so I'm going to put that one up here. Okay, so grab the next strip of wax paper and we're going to lay it on here. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to take the two ends and we're going to make them meet in the middle. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just the best you can. Thirds is kind of tricky to make. And then thirds is tricky to make. We're just going to do the best we can. So this is going to be 1/3, and then this is going to be 2/3. Okay? And then we're going to grab the next piece of wax paper and we're going to make fourths. No. Yeah. And so this one we're going to fold it in half and then we're going to fold it in half again. And so I'm going to draw my lines. Okay. This is going to be 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. Okay. And then remember, at any time you can stop the video to slow down. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to make this one into 6. So I'm going to fold it in half. Okay, and then I'm going to fold, this one's going to be a little bit harder too. So here's half. Well, there, this is half. And then I need to do 1. We're going to take this side and we're going to fold it 2 times. That one's kind of hard. This is 1 line. This is 1 line. So we're going to do it again. So take this side and we're going to go fold once, kind of halfway, and then fold again. Okay. And so then there's 4. Okay. So this would be 1/6. This would be 2/6. This would be 3/6. 4/6. Oh, it's getting hard to see. And 5/6. Okay. Then we're going to do 8s. 8s are a little bit easier to fold. So grab your next piece of wax paper, and we're going to fold in half. Fold in half. And fold in half one more time. So I folded in half once, folded in half twice, folded in half 3 times. So when I open it back up, trace over the folds. Okay. And so this would be one. Ooh, let's see if I broke the pencil. 1/8, 2/8. Oh, I put 6. 2/8, 3/8. 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, and 7/8. So the reason why we did this was so if I had 8s and I wanted to see what was equivalent, so let's say I'm going to look at my halves. I can put this on top and see which lines match up. Okay? That's why we did that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to read some scenarios, find our fraction, and then we're going to see what fractions are equivalent to those fractions, okay? So this line was just to kind of help us. We're not really going to use this front page. So let's go to the second page. So we're going to read this scenario. And remember, if you do not have the parchment papers, you can still do this assignment with me, okay? Because we're going to use these papers to mark our lines on our number line. So we're going to read the scenario, determine which number line template can be used to represent the scenario. So which one of these? We're going to put the parchment paper over the black number line to see where we should mark the fractions. And then we're going to label the fraction in red on the black number line. It's okay if you don't have a red. And put a dot. And then we're going to use the other strips of parchment paper to find at least one other fraction equivalent to the one in the scenario. Okay? So, our first scenario says, Tyson has 8 video games. 4 of his games are for his Nintendo Switch. What fraction of his games are for his Nintendo Switch? So, I know that he has 8 video games. So this is going to be my denominator. So I'm going to circle 8 and I'm going to write D for denominator. 4 of his games are for his Nintendo Switch. So I want to know what fraction of his games are for his Nintendo Switch. So the 4 is going to be my numerator, because that's what we're going to be counting. So my fraction would be 4/8. Okay? So if you do not have the parchment paper, that's okay. You can divide this number line into 8s. So here is my number line. Okay? So I know that 4/8 is right here. So that's about, I'm going to move your parchment paper down. And I know that right here, I'm going to make a line. Right here is 4/8. Okay. So that's about halfway. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my thirds, halves, fourths, halves, thirds, fourths, and 6 to see which one of these is going to have a mark, which one of these fractions is, which one of these lines on my number line is going to line up with 4 6. Now, it may not be exact, but we're going to see which one is the closest. So let's try the 6. So I want you to get the piece of parchment paper that is divided into 6. And we're going to remember, we got to line it up. And so if you see, oh, this line and this line are lined up. That is 3 6. So what I'm going to do is, with a crayon or a colored pencil or a highlighter, we're going to slide this down, and I'm going to make, I'm going to make this green up here, and I know that 3 6 is equivalent to 4 8. Okay, now I want you to look at something. It says, write a statement showing the comparison between the two fractions. So I want to compare these two fractions, okay? This is something that we're going to be talking on in next week, comparing fractions. So let's just kind of go ahead and look at how would I compare these fractions? So this would be 4 8 is equal to 3 6 because they're equal. Okay, they line up together. So that was kind of like if I had my fraction bars. You don't have to draw this, but if I had my fraction bars, guys, and if this one was divided into 8s, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one was divided into 6. You notice 4 8 is equal to 3 6, so that's why we write our comparison like this. Okay, so turn the page. We're going to look at scenario 2. Scenario 2 says, Bianco has to complete 2 pages of homework for his math class. He has already finished 1 page. What fraction of his homework does he still need to finish? So we know that he has to complete 2 pages of his homework. He has already completed 1 page. So what would our fraction be? So we know that our denominator is going to be 2 because there are 2 pages in all, and he has already finished 1. So that's our numerator. So our fraction is 1/2. So I'm going to show 1/2 on my number line. If you have the parchment paper, put that on the number line, and if you noticed, 1/2 is, this is 1/2. So go ahead and label your number line with 1/2. And we're going to see which other number line is going to have something equivalent to half. So let's look at our thirds. So if you notice, are any of these lines lined up with 1/2? No. So we know that this is not, none of those are equal to. Let's look at our fourths. Well, if you notice, I have 1/4, 2/4, and 3/4. 2/4 is equivalent to 1/2. So I can say 1/2 equals 2/4. Okay. Let's look at the third scenario. Guys, and if you don't have the parchment paper, you should still be labeling this right here. You still should be labeling this. Scenario 3. Esmeralda got 3 chances to shoot a basket during her basketball game. She made 2 baskets. What fraction of her shots, did she make? So she got 3 chances to shoot a basket during her game. Out of those 3, she shot 2 baskets. So what would that fraction look like? So 3 is how many she got. That's my denominator. And 2 is my numerator because that's how many she shot. So my fraction is 2/3. Sorry. Okay. So I want you to grab your parchment paper that has thirds. And here is, on this one, we're going to go ahead and mark all the lines. So here's 1/3, here's 2/3. So this is 1/3, this is 2/3. So go ahead, and if you don't have the parchment paper, just kind of look to how I did it. So let's see what would be equivalent. So let's look at our eighths. So are any of these equivalent? Do any of these match up on my lines? No. Let's try the 6s. Yep. So I'm going to put this down here, and I'm going to draw on a different color. I'm going to say here's 1/6, that's 2/6, 3/6, 5/6. So here's 1/6, this is 2/6, this is 3/6, this is 4/6, and this is 5/6. So 2/3 equals 4/6. Okay, let's do number 4. Deshaun has to run 4 laps at his school's turkey trot. He has already completed 3 laps. What fraction of laps does he still need to run? So, I know that he has to run 4 laps. He has already ran 3 of them. So, what is the fraction of how many he still needs to run? Still needs to run. Pay attention to that one because it's different. So I know my denominator is going to be 4, but look, this is not going to be my numerator because this is how many he completed. How many does he still need? So if he has 4 laps and he already ran 3, he still needs 1 lap to go. So he needs 1/4 of his laps to run. So I'm going to divide this number line into 4ths. So here's my number line. So I'm going to say 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and I'm going to label that. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. Okay, so I need to find out what is going to be equivalent. So let's look at my 8ths. Okay. And so here I have 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8. So I'm going to put a dot right here because these are my ones that are that line up with my 4ths. So this would be 1/8. This would be 2/8. Oh, sorry. This would be 3/8. This would be 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8. So I want to know right here, this one. 1/4 is equal to 2/8. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you. So let's look at the very last one. Pablo, that's my husband's middle name, is painting his chest of drawers in his room. He has finished painting 2 out of the 6 drawers. What fractions of drawers has he finished painting? So it tells us right here, 2 out of 6. So that means my fraction is 2/6. So I'm going to divide this up into 6. So I have 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6. Remember, if you don't have the parchment papers, you should at least be drawing the lines right here. 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6. So what I want you to do is I want you out of halves. I spelled that wrong. I don't even know where my whiteout is. I don't even know how to spell halves today. Let's see. Oh. HALVES. So out of halves, fours, 6, and 8s. I think that's spelled right. Tell me what would be equivalent to 2/6. So, guys, if you have your pieces of wax paper, you can just look at the other ones and line them up. If you do not have your pieces of lined paper, but you can use your fraction strips to help you figure this out. So I would get out my 6. You can use your fraction strips or your circles. So I'm going to get out my 6, line them all up. 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I would grab my halves. Line them up. I can grab my 4ths, line them up. I can grab my 6, line them up, and my 8s. And I can pick one that's equivalent to 2 halves. And when you do, I want you to write it on your number line and write me the comparison sentence. All right, guys.